Making videos for any genre is an art form, and they take a lot of work that cannot be rushed into if you want the end product to stay true to your vision. So through this video, I'll be going through my process of making educational videos. I'll explain each step to show how they are all needed to create a finished product. The first obstacle to overcome is actually coming up with the idea. And I know it can be difficult and time-consuming at times to come up with an idea that you think is worth pursuing, but it is good to take a bit of time to think about a few ideas and then work out which one would be better for you to pursue. To first come up with a topic, I have a few avenues that I could go down. I could talk to friends or family about what they want to hear, or think about what I've talked to them about recently, or I could try and come up with an idea myself, looking online or in a book or something. Or I could, seeing as I started taking a class on commerce at school this year, I could steal a few ideas from there, if you know what I mean. I even get a bit of background knowledge for free. Trying to find an idea from a website, a book, or watching other videos can be just as hard as trying to come up with an idea yourself. So knowing where to look can help immensely. For example, you could try having a look in the news. Looking at what is topical at the moment is a great way to catch the attention of more people, as there would be more people looking up that sort of thing at the time. Another couple things that I've done in the past is looked at some finance websites at lists of different terms and had a look to see if there's any concepts that I thought were worth explaining in a video. And I've also looked through a few of my old finance books that I read a few years ago to see if there were any ideas in there that I also thought were worth doing a video on. A quick side note, if you ever want to learn something in detail, a really good way to make sure that you have learnt it is to either try and teach it to someone else or to rewrite it in your own way without looking at the original source. Because then you really know by if that other person understands it from how you've explained it as to whether or not you know it well enough to actually be able to use it in life. So if from your explanation they don't really understand it, it might mean that you haven't researched enough, so you don't have a deep enough understanding of the topic. The next vital step to making a good video is scripting, or at least planning. Even if you're going to improvise a video, it is good to have a plan in place so that you know where the video is going and some main points that you might try and get across. In my case, I script my videos so that I know pretty much what I want to say throughout the whole video, and I just improvise a bit during the video so that it doesn't look like I'm trying to read off a script or anything like that. So let's jump into an example of how I make my videos. So I recorded this process from my last video, going through all of the different things that I usually do to make my videos. To make this easier to follow, I will be in a blue bubble and I will be labeled current time, whether my old self, which is pre-recorded, will be in a red bubble and it will be labeled old Tom. Pressing play, we can see that my first step is to make a new document to write the script on for that video. And because I haven't been bothered to make a template, I had to go into my last video and cut out all of the stuff from that video so I could just be left with intro and outro, which is basically what I have in every video. So the first thing I do, other than writing the intro, which is basically just what the video is about, is actually planning out what I wanted to have in the video. So I wrote a few dot points down, which were just the main 3 points that I wanted to hit through explaining the topic in the video. Okay, so I'll start fast forwarding through the rest so that you don't have to watch the whole hour of scripting while I explain a few things. So basically what I'm doing here is researching the topics to make sure that I have a good enough understanding of it so that I can explain it to everyone. And then I had to write it all into my own words, but then at the same time make sure it is written in a way that people who haven't got any background knowledge on the topic will be able to understand it through just watching my video. If you're wondering how to find some websites with some reliable information in them, here are a few points to follow. The first thing is, if the website doesn't look like it has had much effort put into it, then most likely the information hasn't either. As in, they haven't put much effort into actually researching the topic and writing something that has fact-checked data in it. Next, look at the website's URL. So it will have .gov if it's a government site, .edu if it's an education site, and .org if it's an organization's official site. And these three things are the best kinds of websites to use information from, because they're the most likely to have effort put into researching them, and they'll most likely have correct information. Now, we can move on to actually starting to make this video. And this step would be filming. And I'll let you in on a little secret. It is probably either the easiest or the hardest part of the video making process, depending on what kind of person you are. So for me, it has been hard through the years. I'm getting used to talking well and showing more emotion through my speech and stuff like that, so that I can make the videos more engaging and convey the mood of the different parts of the video. So as expected, in my case, I definitely don't get everything right first try. So here's the intro that you would have seen if you watched the last video. And here is my first try. To be honest, it probably would have been fine, but I did redo it because I took a while to turn the light on, and it kind of ruined the effect that I was trying to go for, which was just that I was walking into the room and making a video off the cuff. Again, now start fast forwarding through the rest of the filming process, so that you don't have to watch me reading the lines while saying nothing, or having a quick mental breakdown, or saying the lines 5 million times because I can't think of what to say. For me, this next step is where the whole video comes together, and it's where I spend pretty much half, if not more, of the whole time that I spend on the filming process doing. And in the case of the last video, it took around 2 and a bit hours. And this next step is editing. It's where you get to put all of the graphics together, get rid of all of the unwanted bits and repeated lines, and you get to make it into a polished, finished product that you would hope that other people would want to watch. I personally use Adobe Premiere Pro for my editing, and to be honest, I don't 100% know how everything works. I probably know around 10% of how to use the program. That's all that I've used for my videos, and that's a bit generous. So yeah, I don't know much about the program, but as long as I know the core things to be able to make my videos, it has worked for me. So as we press play on this recording, we can see that the first thing that I do is try and add my intro into the video, and straight away we're hit with a roadblock. I try and add it in, and it's only the audio that will enter into the video. So then I have to try and look up why the hell that's happening, because as you know, I don't really know much about Premiere Pro, so that took 5-10 minutes. So the next thing I do is cut out all of the stuff ups and repeated lines and everything from the video, so that I can get an idea of how long the video will be. And you can see now that in the middle of this process, my 6-year-old brother comes in to say goodnight, because the only time I could find time to edit was at 8 o'clock at night. Now, as I'm starting to make these circle graphics, which you may have seen in a few of my recent videos, including this one, I'll just start to explain what I got this idea for the circle graphics from. So I watch quite a bit of YouTube myself, and that does help me get some ideas for things I could do to make my videos more engaging. But also from watching a YouTuber tech guy, he's pretty big, called Mr. Who's the Boss, I got the idea for these circle things. So these graphics are basically indicators and timers. I usually put a word, maybe number or icon or something in them, which represents a section of the video. And then I have them grayed out until that section of the video, and then the gray part moves through them and it shows how long that part of the video is going to be, and once all of the gray is gone, it's the end of that section. So while I've been talking, you may have seen me editing in some dot points of things that I would have said in the video, and this is an idea my mum gave me a while ago to put into the video, just like the key points that I've been talking about. That way those points are more likely to stay in people's heads because they read the text once they see it pop up on screen. And then that means that at the end of the section you can pause the video and see all of the points that I made during that section and go over it all better to be able to think about that whole section, or go back to the video at a later date and find out the key things that I said. After editing, the video is pretty much done, but for YouTube there are a few more steps. So first you have to export the video from your editing software so that you can get a file which you can actually upload somewhere. And in the case of my last video, it took around 9.5 minutes to export on my computer, and that is a few minutes more than how long the video actually ended up being. After you've got the file exported, it's pretty much just smooth sailing. You go onto YouTube, upload the video, you can change the title and description if you want, and in my case I've got a default description that I just have to change a few things for, and then it's ready to upload. There is one other important thing that you need to do if you're going to upload a video to YouTube, and that is a thumbnail. It's very important as it's the first thing that people see when they're scrolling through YouTube, and it's the thing that's the most likely to make them click on your video. So it should give them an idea of the quality of your video, as well as what kind of things you're going to be talking about in it. I've got a pretty cool trick if you've got an iPhone. So I don't know if you've played around with the new software update, but to make my thumbnails recently, I've done this. So as you see, I go onto my phone, find the photo that I want, and then you can just hold down on the subject of the photo, and then your phone like crops it out and you can put it wherever you want. I had to copy it over into a notes document so I could airdrop it to my computer, and yeah, it has made my life so much easier when trying to make thumbnails. For all of my videos, I include an end screen, which is like the few things that you see at the end of the video that pop up. It's like a video that YouTube would want you to watch next, or I've chosen that you should watch next. It also has a playlist with all of the videos on similar topics that I've set up, and a circle with my channel logo in it, which gives you a quick way to go onto my channel page or to subscribe quickly, which is what you could do now. The exception for my last video is that I talked about quite a few topics that I've already made other videos on. So what you can go in and do is add cards like what you can see now. And what they basically do is give you a quick link to a video, website, playlist, basically whatever you want. And from that, people can like easily click on it in the top corner and go to that thing that you think might interest them. So what I did was just label all of those times that I talked about topics which I'd made whole videos on, and put the cards in there so that people could easily click on it and watch a video to understand the topic even better. In the case of the video which I was recording the whole process of, I found putting in the cards very helpful, because I found out that the end of my video had been edited properly, and all of my dot points I'd forgot to hide the ones that I hadn't talked about yet, and have them all come in once I talk about each of those points. So I'll skip through going back and editing that all back together, because you've seen me do lots of editing. So that's it. That's how I make my videos and how you could start making your own videos. I've been Tom, and I'm signing off for another Tom 20 Magic video. See ya!